What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing a silly season recap for all of NASCAR's silly season from the beginning of the 2020 season up to this point currently in 2021. At the beginning of this season, there were so many drivers that were not signed through 2021. There were like 24 or 25 drivers at the beginning of the season that their contracts were up at the end of the year. This included Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, William Byron, if I'm not mistaken, Eric Almirola, Clint Boyer, Matt DiBenedetto. Many drivers at the beginning of the season were not sure if they were going to be returning their teams or not. Today, like I said, I'm going to go through all the silly season news that has comes out since the beginning of the year, from the beginning of the year before the pandemic and up to now. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into this episode. The first silly season signing would take place before the pandemic even took place, as Ryan Blaney was signing a 3-year multi-extension with Team Penske, so he will be with Team Penske through the 2023 season. After a really good start to the 2020 season, Ryan Blaney would re-sign with them. Right after that, a couple months later, Alex Bowman would sign a 1-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports, so he would sign with them for the 2021 season. We will talk about Alex Bowman here very, very soon because he's actually going to be involved in a little bit of a later part of this episode. But Alex Bowman would sign a 1-year extension, like I said, with Hendrick Motorsports. After that, it would be announced about 2 or 3 months ago that Brad Keselowski would be signing a contract extension with Team Penske. He had at the time been rumored to be headed to Hendrick Motorsports' car number 48. At the time, Hendrick Motorsports was looking for a veteran driver with veteran experience. That would go out the window as Brad Keselowski would sign a 1-year extension with Team Penske. He will be a free agent after this year, but I would not be shocked if Brad Keselowski signs another little extension because he's been doing really well with Team Penske. Him and Jerry Bones have been really gelling together as a team this year. And then the next day, Levine Family Racing would announce that they would be shutting down. It had been rumored that they were going to be shutting down about 2 or 3 weeks before this. This would mean that Christopher Bell would be a free agent. Now, what would happen with Christopher Bell? Well, Eric Jones would announce 2 days later or 3 days later that he would be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing to go to another organization after Christopher Bell was told he would not be returning to Levine Family Racing after they would be shutting down. Eric Jones still at this moment is unsure and unaware where he will be headed up next year. There are a lot of people linking him to headed to the JGD Doherty organization. Literally the next day, Tyler Reddick had an interview with a reporter, and he announced that he would be returning to RSR for 2021. We thought he would be going there regardless for the 2021 season, but it had been rumored that he would actually be headed to Hendrick Motorsports' number 48 car as well. He would be returning to RSR for 2021, which I think is a really good decision for him and RCR. And then, a couple days later, it would be announced that Christopher Bell would be taking over the 20 car as expected for the 2021 season. Now, it is unaware and unclear if it is going to be Chris Gale who's going to be the crew chief of this car, or if it's going to be Jason Ratcliffe moving over with him from that 95 organization over to the 20 organization, as Jason Ratcliffe has been the crew chief for Christopher Bell since his NASCAR Xfinity Series days when he started an Xfinity Series in the 2018 season. The next day, or 2 days later, Spire Motorsports announced that they would be expanding to a 2-car operation for the 2021 season. Spire will be involved in this episode later as well, but Spire Motorsports, like I said, would expand to a 2-car operation for the 2020 season, as they had purchased one of the charters, actually purchased the 95 charter from Levine Family Racing. And then, not that long ago, Corey LaJoie announced that he would not be returning to Go Fast Racing for the 2021 season. He also, at this moment, is very unsure where he will end up driving for the 2021 season. There has been possible leaks that he might be driving 98 next year or going like Colin next year. There's also been linkings toward a possibility of him going to the 37 next year or to Spire Motorsports. We'll have to find out about Corey LaJoie here really soon. But after Corey LaJoie announced he would not be returning to Go Fast Racing, Eric Almirola, about 2 or 3 weeks later, would announce that he would sign an extension for 2021 for SHR after having a pretty incredible 2021 season. He's been doing really, really well this year, and he deserved an opportunity to get an extension with this team. The same day, William Byron would sign a contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports through the 2022 season. It kind of shocked me they signed it for another year, but after that win at Daytona he got, it was not a surprise that he would be extending his stay at Hendrick Motorsports, as he also does have a Liberty University sponsorship. Now, the question with Liberty University is, are they going to continue to sponsor William Byron after their debacle not that long ago? We'll have to see, but Axalta is basically moving over to that organization. About a week or two later, Bubba Wallace would announce that he would not be returning to Richard Petty Motorsports in 2021. As we would find out later, we'll find out later in this episode about Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace was going to a better organization and a better ride for the 2020 season, related to an organization called Toyota, and we'll talk about that here really, really shortly. But now that ride is still open, we do not know what's going on with the 43 team at this moment. A day or two later, Daniel Suarez would announce that he would not be returning to Gaunt Brothers Racing for the 2021 season. So that ride is currently available in the moment. Speculation is Eric Jones could end up being the driver who takes over the 96 car, but it would be announced, like I said, that Daniel Suarez would not be returning to Gaunt Brothers Racing for the 2021 season. About 2 weeks ago, it was announced that Ross Chastain would be headed to Chip Ganassi Racing's number 42 car for the 2021 season. Originally, Bubba Wallace was the lead candidate for that car, as there had been speculation he was looking to go to the 42 car for next season. But with Ross Chastain being kind of part of the Chip Ganassi pipeline, it did not shock me one bit that he was going to be announced to be headed to the 42 car. As Chip Ganassi has kept his tabs, I'm really excited for what Ross Chastain is going to do next year. That same evening, out of nowhere, about 8 o'clock in the evening, Denny Hamlin would announce a pretty surprising announcement to people on the outside, but in the inside, a lot of people knew this was coming. Denny Hamlin would announce that he and Michael Jordan would be forming a team for 2021, and that Bubba Wallace will be the driver. It is speculated that he will be driving a Toyota and that they will be getting partnership from Joe Gibbs Racing. And this team apparently is worth $150 million. I have heard that that's how much they spent to get this organization. They're going to have a lot of sponsors. It's also very unaware what sponsors are going to be headed over with Bubba Wallace, if Richard Petty Motorsports is going to be keeping some of those sponsors, or if Bubba Wallace is going to be bringing all those sponsors with him for the 2021 season. Silly season will be quiet for a couple weeks, but on Tuesday, actually, was it Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday this past week, Alex Bowman was announced that he would be moving from the 88 car to replace Jimmy Johnson in the number 48 car, taking over the legendary number 48 car. Ally will be sponsoring for the 2021 season, all season. They were looking for a clean-cut driver. And Gray Guys will also be moving over to the number 48 car as well, meaning that Cliff Daniels will probably go over to that other Hendrick Motorsports car. We'll talk about that car here very shortly. The next day, on Wednesday, it would be announced that Trackhouse would be forming for the 2020 season, and they had purchased a charter, and Daniel Suarez would be driving this car. They will have RCR backing for the 2021 season, and they're looking to be a playoff caliber team. I will hope to see it, but hoping to wish much for the Daniel Suarez and see how he's going to do. Basically, they're going to be in the RCR camp. They're not going to be a team with the RCR, but they're going to be part of that RCR camp, going to be in that shop for a little bit, and they will be getting parts and Chevy engines, and they will be looking to do really well. And they have leased a charter, if I'm not mistaken, from Spire. So Spire apparently has 3 charters and not just 2 charters. And then yesterday, 2 silly season reports came out, as Matt DiBenedetto had been rumored that he might not be returning to Wood Brothers for the 2021 season. That would come true, as Matt DiBenedetto would announce he would be returning to Wood Brothers for the 2020 season. However, there is a catch to this. He will become a free agent after the 2020 season, as Austin Cindric will be taking over that car full-time in 2022. And he will also be running select cup races for Team Penske, most likely running the road courses and maybe possibly Daytona 500. The number is unclear. Maybe they'll lease the number 77 from Spire Motorsports, but I think it's either going to be the 06 or 02 is what number they're probably going to choose. And last night, it was announced that Clint Bowyer will be retiring from NASCAR full-time after the 2020 season, leaving the 14 car open, and he will be headed to the Fox Sports booth, as Fox Sports, once again, will be a three-man booth with Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, and Clint Bowyer. So yeah, those are all of the current silly season updates. That's everything that's happened so far in the silly season. Now, there are still a lot of unknowns going on right now at this moment. Here are the rides, to my knowledge, that are currently still available for 2021. The 14 SHR car, the 37 car is still available. The Ford Hendrick car. Apparently, both Front Row Motorsports cars, I thought they had signed agreements and extensions. That is not the case, but John Nemechek has been holding something back, basically. He's been saying, today's the day, and then tomorrow's the day. I'm not sure if he has signed with a team currently at the moment. We'll have to see what's going on there. All Rick Ware Racing is very unknown at the moment. It's unclear who's going to be going there. The Spire cars, both those cars it's not sure who's going to be driving the Spire cars currently. I have a little bit of speculation behind that. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode. The 32 car, the 43 car, and the 96 car are the rides that are still available. So there are still a lot of rides that are currently available headed into the 2021 season. So who's going to be driving the 14 car, in my opinion? I think it's going to probably be Chase Briscoe. It's no surprise, in my opinion, that Chase Briscoe has been killing it in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and he's the next driver moving up. But if Kyle Larson cannot go to that fourth Hendrick car, I think that it will be taking over the 14 car. Chase Briscoe will be taking the 14 car. The 37 car is either going to be Ryan Preece signing an extension with the team, or it's going to be Eric Jones driving that 37 car. I see Eric Jones driving a 37 car. Now we get to the fourth Hendrick Motorsports car. I think it's going to be Kyle Larson. Perry Eastman, it's Perry Strucker, Perry Eastman, who owns the Eastman Company, has Lumar in there. I think Kyle Larson's going to that fourth Hendrick car for next year. Two Front Row Motorsports cars, I think it's going to be the same two drivers. I think it's going to be Michael McDowell, and I think it is going to be John Hunter Nemechek who will remain with those cars. But let's see what John Hunter Nemechek is teasing out, as it might just be an ascension pass this year. All of the Rick Ware Racing cars is probably going to be guys like J.J. Yaley, Garrett Smithley, a couple other guys, and maybe James Davison will probably take over those rides. That's very possible for that. The Spire cars, I think the two drivers who probably take those are probably going to be Justin Haley, and I think it's probably going to be Corey LaJoie. I think Corey LaJoie should deserve a better ride, but I think he's probably going to take one of the Spire cars. I think the 32 car is actually going to be going to Kaz Grala. There's people saying Kaz Grala could be rumored to be moving up the Cup next year. We'll have to see what goes on there. The 43 car, I think, is probably going to go to Ty Dillon, since that is an RCR-affiliated car. Now, that also could go to Kaz Grala as well, because that is an RCR car. But I think Ty Dillon will be taking over the 43. And I think the 96 car is going to be driven by either Eric Jones or Brandon Jones, since that is a Toyota. So, yeah, those are all of the silly season updates and the rest of predictions for the 2020 season. I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. Where do you think all of these remaining miles, and where do you think all the drivers that are still currently free agents will end up? Do you think some of them are headed back to NASCAR Xfinity Series, or do you think that the drivers that I predicted will be in these rides will end up going where they are? It has been arguably one of the craziest silly seasons that I can remember today. Let me just tell you that. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, please like this video so YouTube can recommend these videos out to you guys. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe to this channel for more awesome and great content. I have a video that will be coming out here very soon, kind of talking about my 2021 plans. And also, maybe later this evening, I will be releasing my 400 subscriber Ask Questions video for you guys to watch. Make sure you check that out here really soon on the channel. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.